Welcome back with a smiling face. Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. The Girl in the Woods. Episode 11. Chapter 94 to 102. Shane's POV. His face lit up as soon as he saw me. "I cooked you some soup," I said, smiling. "I am literally starving now. I was on the bed the whole day, didn't even remember about food," he said, letting me in. "Are you feeling okay? You still look tired," I asked, looking at his face. No. I am feeling good. I think I slept too much," he replied, smiling. "Go take a wash and come. I brought some sandwiches too," I told him. "Wow! You are a lifesaver, Shane. Give me 5 minutes, I will be right back," he said, tapping me on my shoulder. Then he left. I arranged a table for us. I usually don't cook. Sarah is the one who always does the cooking. Even today, Sarah offered to help me, but I wanted to prepare something for him on my own. Love makes us do things that we never thought of doing, right? I had so many relationships in my life. I don't even remember how much. But I never wanted to put any effort to impress or take care of my partner. I knew they will be with me no matter how badly I treat them. On the other hand, even if they leave me, that was nothing to worry about, all those relationships were just for fun. When it comes to him, everything is totally different. I want to put all the efforts to impress him, to protect him, to take care of him. I am always worried about what he will think about me. I never ever want him to leave me. I have reached a point where I can't even think of my life without him. Today, I must tell him everything that is in my mind. I must tell him how much I love him. But I am so scared. Let's eat. I am so hungry, Luke said, coming down from the stairs. I nodded, smiling. God! You are one hell of a talented cook, Shane. This soup is delicious, Luke said. My heart filled with pride. Just like a teenage girl who got praised by her crush, I felt proud. We took dinner, talking about the upcoming tournaments and other things about football. How nice it is to have a casual conversation along with him during dinner. I wish I could do this every day. After that, we cleaned the dinner table together. I started to feel like we are a real couple living together. God! What am I thinking? We both sat on the sofa after cleaning. Luke switched on the TV. Today, Mr. Patterson came, I said. Yeah. Sarah told me, he replied. I don't really know what is the deal with him, Luke, but I was so close to punching him right on the face, I said bitterly. I think you already know Jake is in an affair with Sarah, Luke asked out of nowhere. Yes, I got to know about that today, I replied. Mr. Patterson wants to get his revenge from Jake. He is trying to use Sarah for that, Luke said, making me astonished. Mr. Patterson is Jake's auntie's only son. However, their families are not on good terms. His dad is a total wicked person. He is the one who mainly creates all the problems between these two families. A few years back, Andrew's girlfriend died from a car crash. His dad, however, made him believe that it was Jake and his dad, who were behind this car crash. Since then, Andrew started to resent Jake and his family with all he has. No matter how much Jake and Jake's dad tried to make him realize the truth, that was no use, he is not ready to listen. It was his mom, who could at least control him from doing stupid SHTs, but as you know she died recently. So he is now totally out of control just like a wild beast. He knows that the best way to hurt Jake is taking Sarah away from him. So he is doing everything he can to break Jake's affair with Sarah. Luke added. I was startled. Well, this explains why Mr. Patterson came after Sarah since the beginning. Why he tried to dig into our family details that much. Though I mentioned about Mr. Patterson now, I never expected Luke to reveal the inside story with me this openly. This means he trusts me, doesn't it? He trusts me to share something that only 3 of them are aware of. I don't really know why you treated your sister that badly in the past, Shane, Luke said, looking right into my eyes. His look pierced through my eyes to my mind, making me ashamed of myself for my past action. The tone of his voice clearly implied the disgust about my past behavior. But Sarah told me that you tried to protect her from Mr. Patterson today. She said you have changed a lot. Especially the way you treat her. So I think you deserve to know this. Luke said. What do you think, Luke? I asked, looking into his eyes. What do you mean? He asked, looking away. I mean what you think about me? Do you think I have changed? I asked. He was silent for a few seconds. Then he looked at me. Yes, I think you have changed a lot, Shane. I hope you stay like this every day because I prefer this new Shane, he said, making my heart beat faster. Tell him how much you love him, Shane. Tell him. My heart was screaming. But I couldn't gather up the courage to do that. He has just started to trust me and share things with me. What if everything gets changed with what I am going to tell him? He will again start to disgust me. Maybe he will even avoid me. I can't afford to lose him. Even if he loves me or not, I want him in my life, at least as a friend. So I think I should wait. I should wait some time more. I concluded. Andrew Patterson's POV. I don't even know how I managed to drive all the way to my house from Sarah's. I was furious and at the same time so heartbroken. Right after I came home, I shut the door and threw away my car key. I was burning inside, and I desperately wanted to release my anger on something. I smashed all the things that were on the small display rack in the living room. Some of them were very valuable antique items, but I didn't care. However, after that, I felt a little bit calm. I dropped myself to the sofa, holding my head from both the hands. If Jake was near me, there is no doubt I would beat him to death. I thought what happened at the party would change Sarah. She was so shocked as I expected, but I don't know how she started to believe him once again. He is so cunning. He used his charm to persuade my little angel. He got what he wanted. He turned her against me. Then he ruined my angel's innocence. Only God knows how much I wanted to make her first experience an incredible one. How much I wanted to be the person who gives her that wonderful experience. But that took everything away from me. You are going to pay for that, Jake, sooner or later. However, this is not the end. I won't stop until she is mine, and you are in eternal suffering, Jake. The way Sarah acts in this situation actually makes me respect her even more. She is so loyal and rave. Now I want to make her mine more than ever. It is okay, my first plan went in vain. But I will rise again with my second plan. This time, it won't be easy for you, Jake. I will have more people on my side. You will be left alone. Sarah's POV. Everything got back to normal little by little. Jake came back to the university since his father is now well. Luke also returned to the university. He was fully recovered, and doctors even gave him permission to start practices. Our whole football team was so busy with the practices for the upcoming inter-university tournament. They all were best at what they do, but this time there is something more. They are united than ever. Like one big family. I think all the hardships they had to go through in the past few days made them much stronger and much united. Making all the lectures wonder, Shane and his friends started to come to the lectures. I think Shane is the one who got a lot busier than anyone else. He wanted to focus on his studies and practices to the best. Shane even asked me and Luke to support them with their lessons. We both happily accepted his request. Even at home, I spent a lot of time helping him with his studies. As a return, he started helping me with cooking and other housework. I actually didn't want him to help me because I knew how much he already has on his plate. But he insists that he needs to help me. Since Mom was not in the home most of the time, I think she didn't feel Shane's sudden change, but Dad felt it. When Shane supported me with my work, he always kept staring at us with surprise. But he never tried to stop Shane. Instead, there was an admiring smile on his lips. Like this, days went on, keeping me happy and satisfied. Just before the inter-university tournament starts, Jake had to go back to his home for the engagement. We met before he left. Though I clearly knew this engagement is just a drama, I was worried. Therefore, I couldn't even make up my mind to make love with him. All I wanted was to cuddle to his chest and embrace his warmth. So when he tried to remove the nightdress I was wearing, I stopped him. He looked at me with surprise, then he understood what I wanted. Without even complaining about that, all night he kept on kissing and caressing my face and head, comforting me. Finally, we both fall asleep, cuddling with each other. The next morning, I woke up before him. I was sleeping, resting my head on his bare chest. He had one of his arms around me. I slowly removed his arm and sit straight. He looks so handsome in sleep. So innocent and gentle. I placed a small kiss on his forehead. He was still in deep sleep. He was just wearing his boxers. God! He has one hell of a sexy body. He looks like a carefully carved Greek god statue. Any girl in this world would desire to make love with a handsome guy like my Jake, there is no doubt. But he is mine. Only mine. No matter how many fake engagements he has to get, he is mine from his soul and body. Putting my legs each side of his body, I sat on his stomach. He is strong and masculine. He has got a well-developed body with all the practices. So he didn't even feel my weight on him. I smiled foolishly, looking at his face. Then I started to kiss his bare chest, making him tickle. I made sure I left a few love bites as well. He slowly opened his eyes, with my sweet T0-richer. I smiled at him. Seems like someone is in the mood for a naughty little something, he chuckled. Yes. I think so, I replied, laughing. Then the next moment, he has pinned me to the bed and removed my poor nightdress, leaving me only in my underwear. Chapter 95, Sarah's POV. After having an incredible, blissful time together, he left. I went directly to the cafe. Since it was a holiday, I wanted to work the whole day. In the evening I got a call from Jake. I went to the bathroom and answered his call. Sarah, he said as soon as I answered. Getting ready for the engagement? I asked. I don't have any early preparation to do. I just have to suit up and be there on time, he chuckled. Anyway, there is someone you need to talk with, he then added. Talk with me, who is that? I asked with surprise. Wait. I am giving her the phone, he said. I felt nervous. Who can be that? Sarah, a musical girl voice raised from the other side. Why? Yes, I said. This voice is not familiar. I don't know anyone in his family as well. So how am I supposed to identify the voice? It is Marina, the girl spoke again. Marina. The girl Jake is going to get engaged to. That goddess-like girl. Well, her voice matches so much with her looks. But why he asked me to talk with her? She doesn't even know me. So how are you, dear? She asked like she has known me for a long time. I am doing good, Marina. How about you? I asked. Oh. I am doing excellent. It is my engagement, after all. Though she said it, laughing, her words made my heart ached and filled my eyes with tears. Fake or not, she is getting engaged to my Jake today in front of the whole world. I indeed got engaged to him before anyone, but it was just two of us and Luke know about that. Hey, Sarah. What happened? I was just joking. This is not real engagement, just a drama. How can I get engaged to him anyway, when he is already engaged to you from his mind, soul, and everything? She asked. Her voice was soothing and there is no doubt that she meant every word she said. But I was so stupid and I couldn't control the senseless fear I was feeling at that time. Letting tears running down my cheeks, I hold the phone to my ear silently. Sarah. You there? She asked. Yes, I managed to say. Are you crying? She asked. She is crying, I heard Jake's worried voice raised behind her. Give me the phone, he said again. No. Wait. I will handle this, she said firmly. Sarah, please listen to me, she then said to me. Don't keep any concerns about this engagement, dear. This is all fake. I am not ready to get into a relationship with anyone. I agreed to this just because Jake told me everything about you. I am pretty sure that he doesn't want this engagement as well, so there are no ties attached. We are just doing a media show for the sake of his dad and my grandfather, she said. I know that, Marina. I don't know how to convert my feelings into words. I can understand you, darling. When you love someone so much, it is hard to endure this kind of circumstance. But I assure you, there is nothing you have to worry about. Just think of me as his sister. Everything that happens between the two of us is just things between a brother and a sister. She said. On the other hand, you can trust Jake with your life, Sarah. You can keep him locked with thousands of beautiful girls, but he will never even want to. Look at them. His eyes see only you. His ears hear only your voice. His mind is filled with your memories. There is no space for any other girl in his life. So stop crying, darling. You are one hell of a lucky girl, she added. Her words brought a slight smile to my lips. Everything she said was right. I knew all of them. But when I hear them from her voice, they weighed more. I thanked God because it is Marina Jake has to get engaged to. Not just from her looks, she is indeed a goddess even from her character. I am not crying now. Thank you very much for talking with me, Marina. You are really a good person. I am so glad that it is you who get engaged to my Jake, I said. She smiled. Okay, Sarah. Then I will give the phone to Jake. I will talk to you later. Take care, she said. Okay, dear. Take care, I replied, smiling. Why did you cry, princess? After a few seconds, Jake's voice raised. I am just stupid, Jake. You know how I feel sometimes, I said, trying to smile. I am so sorry, princess. I always make you hurt, he said sadly. Are you mad? You don't have to say sorry. Didn't I say I am just stupid? Anyway, I am so glad that you let me speak to her. I said. Promise me, Sarah. You won't cry when you see this engagement on TV or somewhere else. You know how these people report things. They fabricate things as they require. They just need to get the highest hits on their news. So, only God knows what those will report about this. But tell me, you would be strong no matter what happens, he said. I promise you, Jake, I will stay strong. Don't worry, I said. I have to go, princess. I will call you at night. I love you so much, he said. I love you too, my babe, I replied with a smile. After coming home, I prepared dinner. Only Mom and Dad came for dinner as Shane hasn't come home yet. Luke said they have a special meeting with the coach. I was cleaning the kitchen when Mom and Dad were watching a movie on TV. I wanted to finish my work as soon as possible and go to sleep. I was exhausted working all day. Suddenly, the movie paused, and someone announced that they are going to telecast special news. I also paid attention just to know what is the special news. Today, a very special function was held at the Grand Hotel. It is to celebrate a new and very special relationship between the two most powerful families in the country. A very special bond between the two most powerful families in the country. It is about his engagement, right? I walked towards the living room to have a look. Today the People's Party presidential candidate Victor McMiller's only son Jacob McMiller getting engaged to Marina Watsons, the granddaughter of the current president His Excellency David Watsons. Let's move on to the live telecast from the Grand Hotel. There was him. Smiling brightly and looks like a Greek god. He looks so handsome. So divine handsome. He was on a magnificently decorated stage. His mom and dad were also with him. All three of them look wonderful together. Then Marina walked up to the stage from the audience with her mom, dad, and grandfather. She also looked so beautiful. Then all of them got onto the stage. Jake and Marina came a bit forward. They look amazing together. Our President David Watsons did a small speech, but I didn't get any of the things he said. I was just staring at Jake and Marina. Just think of me as his sister. Marina's words were echoing in my mind. But I couldn't help thinking about how perfectly they matched together. Then the most magical moment of ring exchanging came. Jake put a ring on her finger. Without even knowing, I was touching the ring he put in my finger. I didn't wear the ring on my ring finger to avoid being questioned about it. I was wearing it on my middle finger. Then she put a ring on his finger. He had to take off the ring I put in his finger, right? Simultaneously the front door was opened, and Shane entered the house. See, darling, this is your friend, isn't it? Did you know that he is Victor McMiller's only son? However, I think this beautiful girl matches him perfectly. This must be a match made in heaven, Mom said, looking at Shane. Shane's eyes traveled to the TV and at the same time, Jake kissed her on lips. Though, I knew very clearly all these are just a drama, that moment I felt really depressed. I couldn't bear seeing him kissing her in front of the whole world. It is true, that it is barely a kiss. He just pecked her lips. But, God! They are so adorable, aren't they, honey? Mom again asked from Shane. But Shane's eyes were glued on my face. I couldn't stand these anymore, especially my mom's comments on how flawlessly they match each other. I climbed the stairs as quickly as I can to get into my room. What is wrong with her? Why she ran away? I heard Mom's voice behind me. I shut the door behind me and collapsed on Toddy bed, sobbing. I promised him that I would stay strong and I wouldn't cry. But I couldn't help it. I know I am so stupid. I don't have to act this childish. But I was totally out of control. I was sobbing like crazy. Sarah, Shane's voice raised outside the door. I didn't say anything. But when I heard his voice, my sobbing just got worse. Since there was no response from me, he opened the door and entered. "What is this?" he asked, trying to pull me towards him. I couldn't clearly understand if he is angry or he is surprised. "Sarah," he tried again to make me turn to him. I was holding to my pillow so hard and sobbing. "What? Look at me, Sarah." Then he made me turn to him using both of his hands. He was staring at my flushed face for a few seconds. His eyes clearly said that even he didn't have a clear idea of what he should do next. "Tell me, what is all this about? He loves you, doesn't he? Then what has happened?" he asked. "Did you know he is Victor McMiller's son? Did you know about this stupid engagement?" he asked again. I didn't know how to answer him. I was overwhelmed. "Sarah," he said, sitting next to me and holding my hand. I have no words to explain how much of a comfort and protection I felt with his small touch. This must be the bond between siblings, which I always so desired to have. "Sarah, come here, don't cry. I know there must be a fair explanation for all of these." He pulled me to him and hugged me tightly. Then only I realized I was just sobbing all this time without saying anything to him. I rest my face on his firm chest. He felt so warm and comfortable. "Luke told me that Shane revealed to him that he is gay. That means he has clearly changed, and he trusts us with his secrets, right? I don't know if I am allowed to tell him the truth about Jake's engagement. But I felt a sudden urge to share everything with him. With my twin." Chapter 96. That night, cuddling to my twin's warm chest, I cried my eyes out. I told him almost everything about me and Jake. I told him why Jake had to fake an engagement. I told him how my Jake got engaged to me, though the whole world is not aware of it. I didn't feel time passing. I didn't know how long I was there crying and talking. He didn't interrupt me even for a second. He was just caressing my hair and wiping my tears from time to time. However, after I shared everything with him, I felt a lot more relaxed. "He loves you so much, Sarah. You are so lucky. Don't worry about all the other things. Those are just trivial problems compared to the strong bond you two have," he finally said. I tried to smile. "Now be a good girl and take some rest," he said, standing up from my bed. I nodded. After looking at my face for a few seconds, he left my room. Since I can remember, I craved his love and attention. I had done everything I could do to get his attention. But all my efforts were fruitless. He just wanted to beat me and make me humiliated in front of everyone. But that night, he became the brother I always wanted. He was there when I need him, and he comforts me with his love and care. I didn't even know that he can be this soft and caring. You may have a lot of trouble in your lives. You may sometime feel that your problems are never going to end, but believe me, time solves all the problems we have. If Shane could change this much with time, anything else can be changed with time. Just give your problems a break, and wait patiently. After Shane left me, I was just lying down on my bed. I was just going through my phone and checking Facebook. I didn't have many friends on Facebook, but I have liked some news sites and gossip sites. So my news feed was filled with the photos and details about the magical engagement that happened this evening. All the news sites and gossip sites have posted photos of the engagement, congratulating them for a wonderful future together. Some Facebook pages have gone so far and called Jake and Marina as the best couple of the year. It is funny to do such a thing when they don't even have any information about their life as a couple. To be the best couple of the year, they should at least have a strong love story, but they don't love each other at all. Their only qualification to become the best couple of the year is both of them belong to the most powerful families in the country. One news site has uploaded a photo of them kissing after exchanging rings. As soon as I saw that photo, I closed the Facebook app. I have just made up my mind, after crying. There is no need of hurting myself again, looking at those ridiculous photos of fake engagement. I opened my phone photo gallery. There were some photos I have taken with my love. I am not saying it is a huge collection of photos as other girls have of them and their boyfriends. There were just a few photos. But all of them bring back sweet memories of our love. Therefore, I cherish them with my life. After all, they are real photos of real moments of our love. We are not faking anything. While I was going through the photos, suddenly, my phone rang. It was from my Jake. I quickly answered the phone. "Hello, Jake," I said. "Princess," his voice sounded exhausted. "You sound so tired," I said sadly. "Let me make a video call," he said, then I got the notification for a video call. I accepted it. He was still wearing the suit he wore for the engagement. Not just he sounded exhausted, he looked so tired as well. Even his eyes have turned red. "I am so sorry, Princess. Please forgive me, before I say anything," he said in a pleading voice. "Jake. You don't have to apologize for anything," I said quickly. "I had to kiss her to make it look real. But believe me, Princess. I just touched her lips, and the whole time I was thinking just about you," he said. "I know that, Jake. I totally understand," I said. "I had to remove the ring you put on me, but see, I have worn it again," he said, showing me his hand. I felt really sorry for him. Everything that has happened today has affected him way more than they affected me. "Look, Jake," I said sympathetically. "You have to wear the ring she put on you. Though this is a fake engagement, we have to make it believable. Otherwise, all the efforts you all have put may go in vain. A ring doesn't mean anything, Jake. It is just a symbol. When we belong to each other from our minds, bodies, and souls. Wearing or not wearing a ring doesn't change anything," I said. "I know that, Princess. But you don't even know how hard it is to even pretend to love someone else when you have occupied my mind to the fullest," he said. He is right. That must be really hard and painful. I just wish I don't ever have to even pretend to love someone else other than my Jake." "You saw the live telecast?" he then asked. "Yes. Facebook is also filled with your photos," I said, smiling. "God. This is even worse than I thought," he said worriedly. "Don't worry about those, Jake. You knew the journalists would do something like this. Now forget all these and take some rest." "You are too tired," I said. "Okay. Princess. My lips are actually hurting with all the fake smiles. Anyway, I am coming back tomorrow. See you at the university, Princess," he said. "See you, babe. Love you a lot," I replied and gave him a kiss. After university started on Monday, everything seemed different. Jake came to the university with Luke. They didn't try to pretend like they are not the best friends. Everyone, including lecturers, was staring at Jake and whispering things as he passes them. None of them knew the true identity of Jake, but they showed a lot of respect for him just for his personality. However, now the respect they show towards him has multiplied by 1,000 degrees. Now they don't just respect him, I think they fear him as well. I can give you all an example. When I was in the washroom, there were a few girls from our batch talking there. They were talking about Jake. They too look super awesome, right? I don't think there would be any other girl matches him that perfectly, one of the girls said. But it is so heartbreaking even to think that he is now engaged, another girl said. Engaged or not, we didn't have a chance with him, Lori. Now we can't even dream about him. He is far away from us. That's true. Now he is not just extremely handsome and a super genius. He is also the only son of Victor McMiller. He is not just the Rick Hest man in the country, he is one of the Rick Hest in the whole world. Also, he is going to be the next president of our country, there is no doubt in that. Just think how powerful all these make him. Of course. We are like tiny stones in the ground when he is in sun on the sky. Marina Watson is the girl who matches him in all the criteria. She is divinely beautiful. She is rich, and she is from the most powerful family in the country. I am not even sure how we should behave when we are near him. You know, this feels like we are having a royal prince among us. If you do something stupid, you could be punished. I opened the door of my cubicle and came out. I didn't want to listen to them further. I actually had no idea what I should feel about the things they discussed. Should I be happy because the person they are even afraid to dream about loves me with his life? Or should I be frightened because he is that powerful and I am nothing compared to him? They say Marina and Jake are a perfect couple. What they will say if they knew it is me Jake loves, not Marina Watson? They wouldn't even believe that, right? However, none of these seem to affect Jake's usual behavior other than he openly stays with Luke. He came for the lectures as usual and sat in the front row. He kept on asking questions from lectures and paying his fullest attention to the lectures. He went for the practices and he was just the usual team captain. That evening, when he called me, I told him about what others tell about him. He laughed for a few seconds. So what you think? He asked. What you mean by what I think? I asked. I mean, what you think of what others think about me, he asked. To be honest, I have no idea, Jake. I don't know whether I should be happy or scared, I replied nervously. There is nothing for you to scared of, princess. People can say different things about me because they don't know me. But you know me inside out. You know I don't give a sh about power or money. You worth it for me than everything else. They can say I and Marina make a perfect couple. They just consider about material things. If they knew how strong our love is, they will never even think of saying I match perfectly to Marina. He said, comforting me. However, things went on smoothly like this without much trouble. Do you know what is the best thing happened after I shared everything with Shane? Jake and Luke came to our house to meet Shane on some days. So I got the chance to meet Jake alone in my room when my parents were not around. God! How much I have dreamt of talking with him, sitting on my bed. Well, that dream became a reality. Believe me, we didn't do anything extreme other than sharing a small kiss. He didn't even stay long with me, but that short time was so magical. Within a few days, the inter-university tournament started. As predicted, our team was performing exceptionally. They were the most popular team among everyone. I went to watch each and every match they played. However, winning the semi-finals, they got qualified for the finals. We all were focusing totally on finals, so we didn't even notice that other people, including Mr. Patterson, were also executing their evil plans against us at the same time. Chapter 97. After working in the cafe, I went to the university ground to see our football team practicing. Tomorrow is the big day, the finals. All the efforts they have put so far, all the commitments they have done so far are going to be paid off tomorrow. Our players are in a very good state both physically and mentally. Most of them are in their best form, so we have a pretty good chance of winning. Today they show extraordinarily enthusiastic and united. No doubt that they want to do their best tomorrow and make us all proud. After the practices, they were going to have a team meeting along with their coach. Therefore, without waiting for Luke or Shane, I decided to go home. I got down from the bus and walked up to our front gate lazily. I was tired after working all day. We got a lot of customers today. However, as soon as I saw the car that was parked in front of our house, all my tiredness just got disappeared. This is impossible. I ran to the house as quickly as I could. The front door was opened, and both Mom and Dad were sitting in the living room with him. They were talking and having tea as well. Mr. Patterson. I couldn't control myself from screaming. "Oh, Sarah. You came?" Mr. Patterson asked, smiling. "Of course, I came. This is my house. What are you doing here?" I wanted to ask, but I kept silent because Mom and Dad were there. "Where were you until this late?" "Mr. Patterson came to visit us, but none of you are at home." Mom asked. "I was working at the cafe," I said in a low voice. "I went to the cafe before coming here." "Didn't see you there," Mr. Patterson said innocently, looking at me with a cunning look. God! What is wrong with this rascal? "After working, I went to see our team practicing," I said quickly. "Mr. Patterson, why are you here?" I then asked angrily. I was so angry with him, and if I could I will chase him out of my house. He is always invading other people's private lives. Who gave him such authority? Sarah! Where are your manners? Is that the way you talk to your teacher? Also, he is our guest too, Mom scolded me. "Please forgive us, Mr. Patterson. This girl doesn't even know how to behave. She is so different from my Shane. She is so corrupted," Mom apologized to him. "My mom doesn't think twice to humiliate me in front of anyone. But this is too much, she shouldn't have to talk about me like that in front of this man." "There is nothing to apologize, Mrs. Anderson. That's totally okay," he said to Mom. "I went to meet one of my friends who lives nearby. Unfortunately, he was not at home. I was going back home passing your home, and I just remembered that one day Shane invited me to your house. So, I thought of paying a visit. I completely forgot that he is at practices today," Mr. Patterson said casually. "Shane invited him to our house? No way, that could happen. Shane hates him. But the way he talked actually so convincing. There is no doubt my parents totally believed him. It is okay, even if he is not at home, Mr. Patterson. It is actually an honor, you came to our poor house, Mr. Patterson," Mom said. "Oh! Don't say like that, Mrs. Anderson. Sarah and Shane are two of the best students I have. I always wanted to meet their parents because you know a good student not just there. It is their parents' guidance and commitment that made them the best students," he said. God! He knows exactly how to flatter people. He is so cunning. It is like he has done some kind of a spell on my parents. Sarah! Did you know, Mr. Patterson is Victor McMiller's only sister's son, Dad asked. He has even said that with my parents. He hates both Jake and his dad, right? But he is using their names to get recognition. I can't understand this man at all. I hate him so much. I knew that, Dad, I replied as Dad was staring at me until I reply. Isn't it wonderful? Victor McMiller's son is in your batch and he is playing football along with my Shane. Also, Victor McMiller's only nephew is your lecturer. It is such an honor, Mom said cheerfully. Mr. Patterson smiled charmingly. Mr. Patterson, would it really be possible for you to discuss with Team RB's manager about our Shane? Dad asked. Of course, Mr. Anderson. It is an easy thing for me. RB's manager is one of my good friends. On the other hand, Shane is very talented. So, I don't have to think twice before recommending him to someone. He will be able to find sponsorship for Shane as well, he replied. Oh. That is great, Mr. Patterson. Football is like Shane's life. We want to let him go as further as he can. If he can get sponsorship as well, then it will be a great support for us too. I don't even know how to thank you, Dad said in a grateful tone. No need to thank me, Mr. Anderson. A talented kid like Shane deserves it, Mr. Patterson replied with a cunning smile. What? Shane doesn't need anyone's help to get into a popular team. He is so talented. He is the most highlighted goalkeeper in this season as well. Some of the big teams are already having their eyes on him. It won't be a hard task for him to find sponsorship as well. But this man is just tricking my parents. I wanted so much to ask him to foo off. But I didn't want to get scolded by Mom once again. So I just gave him a deadly stare. But he smiled so innocently at me like he is the most genuine person on the earth. I need to go now, Mr. Anderson. Have some research work to do, then Mr. Patterson said, standing up. It is so nice to meet you too, he then said, shaking hands with my mom and dad. Mr. Patterson, you must come to have dinner with us someday. You know I can cook really well, Mom said, shaking his hand. Oh, really, Mom? When is the last day you cooked? Can you at least remember that? Anyway, my mom suits to Mr. Patterson perfectly. They both are so wily. Sarah. Please walk Mr. Patterson to his car, Dad ordered me. Without saying anything, I followed him to his car. Before getting to his car, he turned to me and looked at my face. Then he smiled. It was purely a wicked smile. Your parents are so easy to manipulate, Sarah. I don't know how you and your brother got this tough when you have such innocent parents, he said sarcastically. What do you want, Mr. Patterson? Why don't you let us stay in peace? I asked. You know exactly what I want, Sarah. I want revenge, and I am getting it one way or the other, he said in a firm voice. Jake or anyone in his family has nothing to do with the tragic destiny you have, Mr. Patterson. Why can't you just understand that? I asked. You are brainwashed by him, Sarah. So there is no point in discussing these with you. But I am sure one day you will understand that I am right. He said. That type of day will never come, Mr. Patterson. Remember well, I will never let you do any harm to my Jake until I am alive, I said in a confident voice. Really? He laughed, looking at me. Let's see about that, Sarah. Who knows what will happen, he said, getting onto his car. See you tomorrow, my angel, he said, as he drove off from our garden. God! I wanted to pick a stone and throw it at his car. Jake called me at night. I was so careful not to mention Mr. Patterson's visit to our house. I even asked Shane not to say anything to Jake or Luke. Tomorrow is a big day for Jake, and I wanted him to keep his full focus on the match. I will tell him everything after the match. The next day, I and Sally were waiting among other spectators until the match begins. Both Mom and Dad also came to see the finals, but they didn't sit with me, fortunately. The pavilion was filled with supporters and media people. Right before the two teams entered the ground, a special announcement was given. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have a very special guest. Please, welcome, Mr. Victor McMiller. I got really panicked as soon as I heard his name and looked at the main pavilion. It was not just him. Jake's mom and Marina were also with him. They all have come to watch the finals. Marina was holding a board that has Jake's name on it. Jake's fiancée looks even more beautiful in person. She is one hell of a lucky girl. The girls who were around me were talking, pointing at gorgeous Marina. What they told is true. She was wearing a denim trouser and our football team's t-shirt. She looks so beautiful even in that simple outfit. Also, she is very lucky too. She has everything she needs. I felt sad, not because she has everything when I don't have anything. I felt sad because Jake didn't tell me they are coming for the match. Why Jake didn't tell me that? He called me today morning as well, but he didn't mention anything about his parents and Marina coming to the match. Didn't he promise me to tell me everything? I felt a vibration inside my pocket. My phone was ringing. It was an unknown number. I answered the phone, thinking who might be that. Sarah. When Jake's voice came from the other side, I got really surprised. How he calls me now. They are supposed to come to the ground right now. Has some emergency happened? My heart started to thump like crazy. Is everything okay? I asked in a shaken voice. I didn't know they were coming, Sarah. They didn't tell me at all. If I knew I would have definitely told you, he said in a hurry. God! Did he really call me to say that? Jake, you are such a fool. That's okay. Don't worry about that at all. You have to focus on the match, I said quickly. I was so afraid when I saw them. I know you would get sad. How can I focus on anything when I know you are sad, my princess? That's why I took a call from the coach's phone, he said. Don't worry. Now everything is okay. I am not sad. I want to see you win more than anything. Make me proud, I said. I wanted so badly to give him a kiss too, but I am among so many spectators. I had to behave. Okay, my love. I will make you proud, he said in a satisfied voice. Chapter 98, the game started. Both teams were on their best form. Therefore this won't be an easy win. Whoever wins this, they have to put their best today, not just that, they need luck on their side as well. Praying God from all my heart for our team's victory, I was watching the match. This is the day they all were waiting for. I was praying most especially for Jake, Luke, and Shane. Both Jake and Luke are among the highest goal takers while Shane is among the top goalkeepers. So they all have to put their very best today and win this. The game was so intense from the beginning. I didn't even remember about Marina or Jake's parents even for a second because my focus was totally on the game. Even when we reached the end of the first half, none of the teams were able to score a goal. However, right before the first half of the match ended, on the 44th minute, Luke scored a goal. It was indeed a brilliant kick. I think the opposite team's goalkeeper didn't even have enough time to figure out how it went into the goal. Both me and Sally screamed with happiness, hugging each other. "Did I say, she is still not over of Luke. Poor Sally has tried a lot, but her heart still belongs to him." Our team was also celebrating their first goal, hugging each other and screaming. This is a pretty good start for them to lift up their morals. After the break, the game continued. The opposite team was not ready to give up. They are already behind 1 goal, and that has made them super competitive. There were few tries from both the teams, but both the goalkeepers could prevent them. However, around the 80th minute, the opposite team scored a goal. Shane tried so hard, but he couldn't stop it. Then both the teams were equal again. I guess none of the teams wanted to drag the game to a penalty round, so they were trying so hard. Both teams were in a pretty aggressive mode. After a few minutes, around 85th minute, Jake was going towards the goal. We were all standing up, praying to all the gods we know. He was defended by the opposition team heavily, and he didn't have a way to pass the ball to one of his teammates either. So taking his chance, he kicked the ball. He was pretty far from the goal, and his angle was not that good also. The ball went in between 2 opposite team players super fast, and then directly to the net. The opposite team's goalkeeper couldn't save it. We scored another goal. The whole stadium was echoing with cheers for Jake. It is impossible to score such an amazing goal with just football skills and pure luck. You need your analytical skills and quick decision-making power to the maximum to achieve that. Such qualities are rarely seen within university players. Queen's team captain proved to us that he is already qualified to become a professional player. One of the commentators said, "Jake, you are my hero. Why you got engaged, Jake? I want to marry you." Girls were cheering for him. I have no words to say how happy and proud I was. It was my Jake who was getting praised like that. My eyes were glued to him, thinking how lucky am I to have him in my life. In the meantime, Jake looked at the section of the pavilion I was in. I waved the university flag I had in my hand. His handsome face lit up with his rare smile. I think he saw me. He has that extraordinary ability to find me among thousands of spectators. God! He is so freaking handsome when he is smiling. I could die for that, the girl who was next to us shouted. Not just you, everyone falls in love with that smile, another girl replied. I smiled. I felt really proud. I was a girl nobody wanted. My existence was not even acknowledged by most of the people. But at that moment, the heavenly smile that stole everyone's heart and made them love its owner was raised for me. That smile is purely mine. Not just that smile, the owner of that smile is also just mine. While I was drowning in my own thoughts, the game has resumed. We were so close to the end of the game, and we were 1 goal ahead. But the opposite team was still trying their best. One of their key players was taking the ball towards the goal, and then he kicked it. Our defenders tried their best to block it, and they got succeeded. The ball's direction changed. But unfortunately, the ball had touched with one of our defenders' hand while they were trying to block it. That means they got a penalty shot. What can possibly go wrong than having a penalty shoot against us at this critical moment? Now it is up to Shane to save us. We have already passed the 90th minute and on the additional time. If they got this right, that means we may have some more additional time and then a penalty round. All the supporters were on their feet, praying. Shane was ready, so was the opposite team player. Then he kicked. Shane literally flew to the direction of the ball, and at the last moment, the ball was hit with his fingertips and changed its direction. Shane blocked the goal. For a moment, the whole stadium was silent. Then it started to echo with loud cheering. Shane! 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 Everyone was cheering for my brother's name. With Shane's super defend, our team was at the highest motivating level, and the opposite team seemed to lose their energy. This drives us to victory. Yay! We won the finals. The award ceremony was so magical. Shane received the award for the best goalkeeper. Luke received the award for the highest number of goals. My Jake won the Player of the Series award. It was his dad who awarded that to him among everyone's applause. My eyes were filled with happy tears. These 3 people. The most important people in my life. They got recognized as the best among the best. I was over the moon. Finally, Jake received the winning team trophy from his dad's hands. After the award presentation, our team was celebrating their victory while taking photos with their fans. They were literally covered with fans. "Let's go," Sally said, pulling me. "Where?" I asked. "To take a photo with them," she said, laughing. "I can't, Sally. There are a lot of people," I hesitated, though I also really wanted to go down there and wish them. "Don't be silly, Sarah. This day is never coming again. We must go." Sally was not ready to give up. She dragged me towards the crowd. She was quite capable of finding her way among a big crowd, I must say that. Thanks to her skill, we could come near to the team faster than I thought. Luke saw us first and waved at us. But at the same time, Jake's parents came there along with Marina. All the people moved a bit and gave them space to reach the team. Jake's dad hugged him, and then he shook hands with all the other players. His mom did the very same. Then, Marina also hugged him heartily. I felt like my heart shattered to pieces. Right at that moment, Jake saw me. His eyes got clouded with pain. "You two pose for a photo." "Jake holds the trophy," Bob shouted. "That's not needed, Bob," Jake said quickly. No, we should take a photo," Bob said again, and most of the people started to cheer for that. "Are you crazy, Bob?" Jake asked annoyingly. "Take one photo, honey," Jake's mom also said. So Jake had to agree. Someone gave him the trophy. Holding it, he stood beside Marina to pose for the photo. "Not like that, man. Put your hand around her, get closer," someone shouted. Jake's eyes traveled to my face. He clearly looked angry. I didn't want to make him even angrier. So I smiled, though it was so hard at that moment. I wanted to show him I am okay with it, though I was feeling helpless. Finally, after everyone started to shout at him, he put his hand around her shoulders and get closer to her. I know this is nothing big to worry about. Everyone thinks they are engaged. So we have to endure these types of requests. I just wish I also could go and hug him tightly in front of the whole world. Give him a kiss on his lips when everyone is there to witness it. God! When we will get that kind of a day. Jake, how about a party to celebrate your victory? Jake's dad asked. Dad, I want to be with my team tonight. We want to celebrate it together, Jake replied quickly. Who said you can't? I asked you how about a party with your team to celebrate this victory. We are not going to come and ruin it, don't worry. But I am going to sponsor it. His dad said. What? Jake said confusedly. Dad is going to sponsor your celebration tonight, honey, his mom then said, smiling. Everyone started to cheer again. All the players started shouting, thanking his dad. Oh! Mr. McMiller, that is so kind of you, coach also said. So you all may choose a place and let me know. I will arrange everything else. Mr. McMiller replied. Everyone cheered again. After his parents and Marina left, the fans started to go and wish the team, and take photos with them once again. By that time, I had no interest in taking photos. I just needed to go home. But Luke came to me and pulled me to ah.ug all of a sudden. We won, he said, laughing vibrantly. His sudden action actually made me happy. I felt like I am an important person as well. My sweet Luke. Congratulations, Luke. I am so proud of you, I said, smiling. Then he hugged Sally too. I am pretty sure this made her so happy. Jake was still surrounded by many fans. But he was looking at us all the time. Jake, I need to take a photo with you and these two, Luke then shouted. I looked at Jake worriedly. Luke must be crazy. But Jake walked towards us, smiling. Anything for you, he said to Luke. Then Luke gave someone his phone to take the photo. Luke dragged me between both of them. Sally was next to him. Luke put his arms around Sally's shoulder and his other arm around my shoulder. His pose gave Jake the required permission to put his arm around my shoulder. What else I need other than being with these two? This is going to be the first photo we take together in public. Luke, you are an angel. You know exactly how to make someone's heart. At last, we four posed happily for the photo. Chapter 99, Shane's POV. Today is indeed the happiest day of my life. After all the dedication and hard work, we finally won. Football gave me a purpose to live. From that shy young boy who was neglected by everyone to the smart, talented Shane who is loved by everyone, football changed me. On the other hand, I met Luke and got the chance to get close to him because of football. That is another reason why I love this game so much. However, I dedicated my whole life to football and today all of them paid off. I was awarded as the best goalkeeper. Now, it won't be hard for me to win sponsorship and also get into a famous team. I won't need that, Patterson's help. Even if I couldn't get into a famous team on my own, I don't want to get his help. I hate him that much. Anyway, I can worry about him later. Now it is time to celebrate. We have got a whole pub just for ourselves. Not just a normal pub either, it is the biggest pub in the neighborhood. Everything was perfect. We had everything we need. Music, booze, food, everything. It was Jake's dad who was sponsoring the party. So we didn't have to worry about the cost. He is like the richest man in the country. We all were talking with each other, playing simple games while eating and drinking. Tonight should be the night I reveal my feelings to Luke. I have decided that a few days back. He is in a really good mood today. I haven't seen him this happy ever. Also, today is an important day for both of us. No matter how confident I am about this, I was nervous too. I don't even know if he likes guys or not. I just sense that he is also gay. But that is not a sure thing. So there is a high probability for me to not get succeeded. But I cannot wait anymore, keeping this buried my heart. It is super hard for me to act normal in front of him. He has a lovely smile. A smile that can attract anyone to him. So whenever he smiles, I couldn't resist myself from staring at him like a fool, even on the field, when he h.ug me to celebrate, I had to put all my effort to retain myself from kissing him. All these emotions are so overwhelming. The more I hide them, the more they are going to drain me. Bro, you should take a shot with us today. You haven't hung out with us for a long time now, Bob said, putting his arm around my shoulder. I can't drink today, Bob. Let's hang out another day for sure, I said. I want to keep my mind straight today. What bro? You can't say no to me like this. I am your best friend. Can't you remember how we used to hang out those days? He said again. I used to hang out with them every day. We did everything together. We took alcohol, weeds. We watched PN as much as we wanted. We fooed girls like there is no tomorrow. We got into fights. Though I can't be proud of the things we did together, I can't deny the fact that we enjoyed ourselves. Whatever I did, Bob was always there with me. He is my best friend, and he is more like a brother to me. I felt like I can't refuse his request. I used to drink all night, so taking just one shot won't hurt me, right? On the other hand, it may help me overcome the nervousness I am currently facing. I took just one shot with him. Unfortunately, even before I put the glass down, Luke was in front of me. I didn't know where he has come from. He was not there earlier, I am pretty sure. I know Luke doesn't disapprove about taking alcohol. It is about weed, he is so against. But I felt ashamed as soon as he saw me. Didn't I tell him, I stopped every bad thing, including taking alcohol. I felt like I cheated him. Luke! Come and join us for a shot. Bob shouted. No, Bob. I am not going to get drunk today, Luke said, looking at me. We are not trying to get drunk, bro. We just want to celebrate, Bob said. Without saying anything, Luke smiled. Anyway, the coach is looking for you, Bob, Luke said. Ah. Why is that? Bob asked. Not sure. He is near the entrance, Luke replied. Okay, then. You carry on, bro, Bob said, standing up and handing me the bottle which was on his hand. You take this, Bob. I don't want to drink now, I said quickly. Okay. Okay. You guys s.uck, you know that. I don't know why you don't drink. Then he walked away from us while cursing us for not drinking with him. He is pretty drunk, don't care what he says, I said to Luke. He smiled again without saying anything. That smile I love so much. Luke, if you're not busy, can I talk to you for a few minutes? I asked. Yeah, sure, what's up? He asked. Shall we go outside? It is too noisy here, I suggested. Okay, Luke replied confusedly. We both went outside the pub. There was a beautiful garden and a pool outside. No one was there in the garden. So this is the perfect place for me to admit to him what is in my mind. Third person POV. Shane was so much excited. He actually thanked Bob for offering him a glass of alcohol, otherwise, he was not sure if he could gather up the courage to speak to Luke. He had relationships with so many girls. For some girls, he had even said that he loves them. But none of those times, he really meant those words. Love was not something he believed in. He just wanted fun and pleasure from a relationship, nothing else. This time it is totally different. He really loves Luke, and he wants everything to work perfectly between them. They both walked towards a corner. So, what's up? Luke asked. He was so nervous too. He was feeling something really unusual. He kind of knew what Shane might want to discuss with him, but he was not even sure if he truly wants to hear it. Shane was not sure how to start the talk. He had thought multiple times how he should put this in front of Luke. But now when he is in front of Luke, looking at him, it was far more difficult than he thought. Luke, can you remember you asked me how I changed my SL preferences all of sudden? Shane asked. Luke nodded without saying anything. I told you even I don't know the exact reason. But now I think my whole life is changed because of one person, Shane said, not taking his eyes away from Luke. Luke felt like his heart stopped for a moment. Please, stop, Shane. This is enough. I don't think I am ready to hear this. Luke thought restlessly. You know who is that? Shane asked because Luke was silent. Luke didn't reply to that either. He actually didn't know how to respond. That person is you, Luke, Shane said, making Luke's worst fear a reality. I love you, Luke. I love you so much. This time Luke's heart indeed stopped for a second. He couldn't even think of what he should do next. There is no doubt Shane meant every word he said. But is he ready to accept what Shane just said? You are truly a wonderful person, Luke. You have this power to make everyone who is around you happy. When I started to get close to you, I every day got amazed by your charming characteristics. You made me want to change myself to a better person, Shane was speaking, looking right at Luke's eyes. But he couldn't figure out what Luke must be thinking. His eyes were so blank. I know, Luke. All these must be pretty crazy to you. I don't even know you like guys or not. But I am really sorry, I couldn't keep it inside me anymore. I was overwhelmed by these feelings, Shane said again. Luke was still silent. There were times some girls came to him and expressed their love for him. But he knew none of them were truly in love with him, all of them were just having a crush. It was just Sally, who truly had feelings for him. Even at that time, Luke didn't feel this difficult to face that situation. He could handle it properly without hurting her. But now, he felt totally dumb. Please, Luke. Please, tell something. Shane's pleading voice made him even more nervous and panicked. Shane, I think we must go inside. You are drunk, Luke said, trying his best to be casual. Shane looked at him sadly. Then he started to walk towards him and stood in front of him. They were so close to each other. Both of them could even hear the other one's heartbeat. Their warm sighs got blended up in the air. If Luke could go behind, he would have already gone without being this close to Shane. But there was a wall behind him. I am not drunk, Luke. I just took one glass. I can drink a whole bottle and still not be drunk. Believe me, this is not drunk talk, I really mean everything I say to you, Shane said. You are pretty drunk. I can see it in your eyes. Luke then said, trying to laugh. Luke just wanted to escape from this situation. Do you really see that I am drunk from my eyes? Is that the only thing you see in my eyes, Luke? Can't you see the love I have for you in my eyes? Shane asked sadly. I don't really know, what are you talking about, Shane? I don't know how you could even think of me this way. Luke said, avoiding Shane's eyes. Even I don't know why I feel about you this way, Luke. But that doesn't mean my feelings are not real, Shane said. You don't even know what you are talking about, Shane. Not a long time ago, you were having sex with every girl you see. Then you came to me and told me you are gay, just a few weeks before. Now you tell me that you love me. Do you even understand how absurd and how hasty all these mean to me? Luke asked. He had no intention of hurting Shane. But he is not ready to start a relationship with anyone either. His whole heart belongs to Jake, only to him. Luke didn't know how to get rid of his feelings towards Jake and make space for another person in his heart. So he just wanted to go away, without facing Shane, and he didn't know how to do that. So he was acting all insane. I know that, Luke. I totally get what you are telling. I am not asking you to love me back or anything. I just wanted to tell you everything that is in my heart, Shane said, getting more closer to Luke. Now their bodies were almost touching. Just give me one chance, Luke. Just one chance. To prove to you how much I love you. Please. Shane said, putting one of his hands on Luke's shoulder gently. He has touched Luke countless times in the field. He has hugged him when they were celebrating. But none of those times felt like this. That simple touch on Luke's shoulder made Shane go insane. He felt like he is in a dream. He couldn't resist it anymore. Though he knew exactly what he is going to do next would spoil everything he has done so far, Shane couldn't hold him back. He placed his lips on Luke's, forgetting every other thing in this world. Chapter 100 Third Person POV. At that moment, Shane didn't worry about anything else. Not even about putting all his efforts in vain. He has controlled his feelings too long, and now he has lost his control. He placed his lips on Luke's. Luke's lips felt so warm and sensational. Shane couldn't even remember how many times he had kissed other people's lips. But he has never felt this kind of feeling. Luke couldn't even apprehend what has happened. Before even he could know, Shane's lips were attacking his. He got really caught up in the moment. Shane's lips felt unbelievably good on his, and he couldn't resist the temptation. Without even knowing, Luke had one of his hands around Shane, bringing him even closer. Shane felt extremely happy and overly confident when he felt Luke's warm touch on his back. He put one of his arms around Luke, and from his other hand, he started to gently caress Luke's hair. The kiss got very intense and none of them have ever kissed anyone this passionately. It was totally magical. But all the magical work should come to an end, right? Even Cinderella's magical moment came to an end when it was midnight. So their kiss also came to an end. Luke suddenly started to come back to his senses. What is he doing? He can't do this. Not with Shane. He can't give Shane false hopes. Even if he has to hurt Shane's feelings right now, he must do it now. He pushed Shane away. Shane got shocked by Luke's sudden reaction. Luke was kissing him so passionately, so what has happened all of the sudden? Are you crazy? Luke screamed. He looked really annoyed. Shane couldn't even understand what to say. How dare you kiss me like this, Shane? Luke yelled at him. I am so sorry, Luke. I didn't want to force myself on you. But it just happened. I am so sorry, Shane said. He still couldn't understand what happened to Luke all of a sudden. He was responding so willing to his kiss. Shane. Don't you dare to think of me as one of those cheap girls you have dated, Luke said angrily. What? Luke. You are not a cheap date, I have never thought of you that way. You are the most important person in my life, Shane said instantly. Really? Am I the most important person in your life? Do you know how ridiculous you sound right now? Luke asked sarcastically. Without saying anything, Shane was gazing at him. Shane couldn't realize what Luke was saying. You don't even know how to treat your own sister. How do you know the importance of any other person? You just think about you. About you only, Luke said sharply. His words were like sharp arrows. I am not proud of the way I behaved, Luke. You have no idea how much I regret the life I had before. I just want to make everything right. You exactly know that I have started making everything right, Shane said. I don't care, Shane. But I must tell you this, Luke said, looking at Shane. We don't have a future together. Luke said firmly. He managed to keep his eyes focused on Shane's while he was saying that. Shane felt like his heart shattered to a million pieces. Indeed, he knew there is a high possibility of Luke rejecting him. But the way he kissed him just a few minutes before. That kiss made Shane so confident. He thought everything would work according to his wish. This is the very first time anyone ever rejected Shane. He had no idea that getting rejected can be this painful. Luke. Please give me a chance to prove myself. You can take time as much as you want, Shane said in a frail voice. I don't need time, Shane. I am sure about this. We two together. That is never going to happen. So don't have false hopes, Luke said. Then he turned to go back inside. But Shane holds his hand and stopped him. Luke felt like he got suddenly electrified. He looked at Shane. Please Luke, Shane said in a pleading voice. Shane. Let me go if you want to keep me at least as a friend. Luke's heartless tone made Shane drop his hold on Luke's hand immediately. He can't lose Luke. Even if Luke doesn't love him back, he wants to keep him as a friend. He can't think of his life without Luke being a part of that. Luke hurried off. He wanted to go somewhere he can be alone. His heart was beating like crazy. He was so nervous. Life is so complicated, right? We always crave for things that we cannot have. So the whole life we live miserably because we couldn't have what we wanted. Maybe there are better options we can take so easily. But we just show a blind eye to them. Luke cannot deny that he loved every second of that amazing kiss. He cannot deny that a single touch from Shane could make him feel so captivated. But isn't it just an attraction? How can he love Shane back when his heart belongs to someone else? Even if he agrees to start a relationship with Shane, it would be based on just an attraction, not love. It is not fair for Shane. He has changed a lot and there is no doubt he regrets all the bad things he did. So he deserves love and happiness. But Luke was not ready to love anyone else other than Jake. When Luke opened the door to enter the pub, Jake came out. Where were you? I was looking for. Jake paused as he understood something is wrong just by looking at his best friend's face. With a reddened face and eyes, Luke looked like a mess. What happened? Jake asked worriedly. Nothing. I am heading to the restroom, Luke said. Without even waiting for Jake's response, he stormed off. Jake couldn't understand what has just happened. Should he follow him? He saw Shane was coming to his direction. Just like Luke, he also looked like a total mess. Are those tears in his eyes? Well. Now Jake could sense what might have happened. Shane. Do you want to tell me what has happened? Jake asked. Without saying anything, Shane was looking down for a few seconds. Shall we go there? Then he asked Jake, pointing the poolside. Jake nodded. They both walked towards the pool in silence. I love him, Jake. I love him so much. Before even Jake could ask anything, Shane said, looking right into Jake's eyes. Jake was not surprised. He observed Shane very closely in the past few weeks. There was no sensible conclusion for the way Shane has changed other than he is in love. Jake knew Shane had some special attraction to Luke since the beginning. But Jake was sure about that in the past couple of weeks. You told him that? Jake asked. Yes. He said we don't have a future together, Shane replied in a weak voice. Jake released a sigh. I did a stupid thing. It made him even angrier, Shane said worriedly. What did you do? Jake asked. I kissed him, Shane said, looking down. What? Are you insane? Who does such a thing before you are so sure that the other person likes you back? You had this many relationships, Shane. Don't you at least know about that? Jake asked bitterly. He could understand what had happened. No one likes when someone else forces themselves on you. Especially Luke. He may seem innocent and cool. But deep inside he always has a set of principles and values he always follows. I know I did the stupidest thing ever. Also, I know Luke hates me for my past behavior. Especially how I treated Sarah. But Jake, believe me. I want to change everything. I have started working on it, Shane said. I know that, Shane. Maybe he needs time, Jake replied. I am ready to wait as long as he wants. I just need a chance to prove myself to him. But the thing is he is not ready to give me that, Shane said. Look, Shane. When you tell something like that all of a sudden, it can make the other person feel vulnerable, you know. So just wait and give him some time. Jake said. You think time will change the way he thinks? Shane asked. I don't know, Shane. But what I can tell you is don't lose hopes, Jake said finally. Jake's POV. It was already the dawn when I come back home after the celebration. I was super exhausted after everything happened today. However, I wanted to clarify one thing before I go to sleep. I hate to wake her up this early, but I felt like I couldn't go to sleep without knowing this either. But what if she doesn't know anything about this? Well, then she has the right to know about this. I dialed her number. Hello, her sleepy voice raised from the other side. Sorry to wake you up, princess. But I have something to ask from you. I said. Yeah. What's up? She asked, still sleepy. You knew that your brother has feelings for Luke? I asked. She was silent for a few seconds. Then I heard she released a heavy sigh. Yes, she replied. Why didn't you tell me anything about that? I asked. I actually felt a bit sad because she didn't tell me that. I am so sorry, Jake. Shane made me promise that I won't tell anyone about this. If it was something about me, I would have told you straight away. But it is his life, I can understand that. How long have you known about that? I asked. Well, for a few months now, few months. Really? I asked. A few months back Shane was not close to Sarah at all. So why he shared something that secretive with her? Actually, that day he was pretty drunk and he just told everything. But the next day when he got sober, he came to me and threatened me not to tell anyone about anything he told me. She said, chuckling. Ah. Typical Shane. Anyway, Jake. May I ask how you got to know about this? She asked again. Well. Something happened today at the party. What? She sounded so excited. There was not even a hint of sleepiness in her voice. He asked out Luke. I briefly explained everything that has happened. God. That is not good, right? Luke must be really annoyed with Shane. She said worriedly. He has acted like a fool, I said annoyingly. This Shane always acts very irrationally. He never thinks before he does anything. Yeah. That's true. But I really pity him, she said sadly. What do you think, Sarah? Does your brother really love Luke? I asked. Yes, Jake. There is no doubt in that. Shane loves Luke so much. He is willing to do anything for Luke. We got this better version of Shane just because he loves Luke so much, she said confidently. She is right. I too felt that Shane's feelings are honest. But that is not the real question actually. Do you think Shane deserves Luke? I asked her. She was silent again for a few seconds. I am not saying Shane is the perfect match for him. Maybe Luke can have someone so much better than my brother. It is just like the relationship between us, she said. What do you mean? I asked confusedly. I may not be the perfect match for you, Jake. For example, I think Marina matches you a lot more than me. She is leagues ahead of me in every aspect. But I am pretty sure that she can never love you as much as I love you. Though we are from two different worlds, we deserve each other, right? I think it is the same with Luke and Shane, she replied calmly. I said thoughtfully. I think she is right. We have to help them, Sarah. Luke has done so much for me. I want to give him all the support to find his happiness as well, I told her, and I meant it from the bottom of my heart. Sarah's POV. Me and Jake, we both agreed that we should help Shane and Luke. Jake said he would talk with Luke about this at an appropriate time. Though I knew the exact reason why Luke is not willing to get into a relationship with Shane, I can't tell that with Jake. Luke trusted me with his secret, I can't break it. Maybe Jake gets to know about it when he discusses this with Luke. Anyway, I wish from all my heart that Luke will start loving my brother, so they can find happiness together. However, time passed as usual after that incident. The presidential election is around the corner, and Jake has to travel to his parents' place from time to time to help his dad. With all the academic work and election work, Jake didn't find time to discuss with Luke about that subject. Luke stayed just as usual. His normal, cool self. However, I observed how he tried to avoid meeting Shane alone. They two participate for practices together, and Luke even helps Shane understand subject matters. But Luke made sure that Shane is not alone. Even when teaching him, Luke asked Bob, Glenn, and some of the other boys to come. Shane is clearly disappointed with this behavior, but after that day, he didn't try to talk with Luke regarding his feelings either. Shane is just patiently waiting, letting time solve his problems. Sometimes, I feel really sad when observing how Shane keeps on looking at Luke with so much pain in his eyes. It is even hard to believe how much Shane has changed. Earlier, if he wanted something, he didn't think twice to acquire it by any means. But now, he is giving priority to Luke's wish, hiding all his pain and sorrows for his love. Anyway, all these things have brought me closer to my brother than I ever imagined. He now openly discusses with me about all his feelings. Therefore, when he feels down because Luke did something to ignore him, I always could make his heart and lift up his spirit. On the other hand, he is also there always to make my heart whenever I feel down when Jake appears on media with Marina. They both have to continue their fake relationship until this election is over. However, Shane always cheers me up, and never let me suffer alone. That was such a comfort. Shane has started loving me. God! How much I was praying for that. One particular incident happened recently which made me confirm that he truly loves and cares for me. One day, when I was going to the library, I met Mr. Patterson in the corridor. I tried to walk away, pretending I didn't see him. But he stopped me. Good to see you, Sarah. I have to ask you something as well, he said, smiling. He was indeed happy to see me. What is it, Mr. Patterson? I asked, hiding how much annoyed I was to see him. I wanted to ask you, what is your dad's favorite liquor? Whiskey, brandy, rum, vodka? What he prefers most? He asked. What? I was totally shocked by his question. Why he wants to know about that? Why you look surprised, Sarah? I just ask what type of liquor you dad like most, he said again. May I know why you need to know that, Mr. Patterson? I asked, trying my best to be polite. We were in a campus corridor, a lot of students were there. So I had no way of yelling at him, no matter how much I wanted to do that. I want to know because I want to buy a good gift for your dad when I come to your house, he said in an excited voice. His words really fired me up. What? Why you come to my house? I asked sharply, but I managed to lower my voice. For dinner, obviously, he said, smiling. Dinner, what is he talking about? Why? Didn't your mom tell you? He asked, sounding surprised. About what? I asked nervously. That she invited me for dinner on Friday night, he said. What? That is ridiculous. Why she did such a stupid thing? Shane clearly explained to my parents that he doesn't need Mr. Patterson's support to get into a big team. Then why she invited him over? I think she hasn't said you yet. Don't worry, she will tell you. Anyway, Sarah. Tell me what is your dad's favorite liquor, I want to get whatever the best for him, he asked again. I don't know anything about liquor, Mr. Patterson. If you really want to know, ask from Shane or you can directly call my mom and ask. After all, you are such a friend of her, I said bitterly, and then I stormed off without waiting to hear anything from that rascal. My parents are so greedy and stupid. They are going to fall into big trouble by getting close to this man. Having him over for dinner. It will be a total nightmare. There is no doubt that my parents would force me and Shane to join. So I have to stand his presence for a few hours, there is no escape. Other than that, I may have to cook for him as well. I just wish I could add some poison to his food and end this trouble once and for all. Sarah, I was walking nervously towards the library when Shane stopped me. Hey, I said, turning around. What that told you? He asked angrily. You saw that? I asked. Yes. I didn't want to make a scene, otherwise, I would come to you, he said. Mom has invited him over for dinner, I said. What? What has she done? He literally screamed with anger. So she didn't tell you even? I asked. If she told me, I would never let her do that, he said. Anyway, is that what he was talking with you? He asked again. He wants to buy a good liquor bottle to Dad, so he asked me what Dad favors, I said. Really? Trying to impress Dad, hey? I don't really know what this mother-f***er is up to, he said angrily. I don't know either, Shane. I am really worried. I don't even want to be in the same room with that man, I said sadly. Don't worry. I am there with you. Let's see what will happen, Shane said, gently patting my shoulder to comfort me. I smiled. How good to have a caring brother on your side. After that, I left him to go to the library. I felt like I need to go to the washroom before heading to the library. Maybe washing my face would ease up my mood. After going to the washroom, I was coming back to the main corridor which heads to the library. Beth, Shane's most recent ex-girlfriend, was there with a few other girls near the main corridor. They were blocking my way. God! I sense trouble. What are they really up to? I need to talk with you. Beth came forward and told. Yes, I said confusedly. What is the business you have with Shane? She asked in a hostile way. Other than Shane's closest friends, others don't know about my relationship with Shane. We didn't think it is necessary to let them know as well. Tell me, what is the business you have with him? She yelled at me as I was silent. Nothing, Beth. Let me go, I said. I didn't want any trouble. Nothing. Then why he keeps on treating you so well? Why he pats your shoulder when talking with you? She asked. Her words made me laugh. Doesn't she sound utterly childish? Why you laugh, Bit? What have you given him? You sleep with him, tell me. Is that the reason? She screamed. What? She is crazy. Are you crazy, Beth? I shouted. Then what? Why both Luke and Shane always hang out with you now? What have you given them? She barked again. I haven't given them anything, Beth. They are just friends, I said. Don't lie to me, Bit. I know Shane so well. He never gets close to a girl if he doesn't want to sleep with her. She then said. I don't know about that, Beth. Let me go, I said in a firm voice. He was so happy with me. I gave him all the pleasure he needed. He has started loving me as well. But you ruined everything. Now he doesn't even want to see me. He hates me now, and you are the reason. She screamed. God! Beth! You don't know how funny you sound. You actually think Shane started to love you. He doesn't love any girl, Beth, I said sarcastically. If it was in earlier days, I would have just shut my mouth, letting her hurt me as much as she wanted. She bullied me at Luke's birthday party as well. I didn't do anything about that. But now I am not ready to do the same mistake. She thinks so highly of her, doesn't she? She must learn a lesson. Yes, he started to love me. You ruined everything, Bit, she screamed again. Listen, Beth. If you think so, go and talk to Shane directly without bothering me. I don't have anything to do with your breakup. I don't know if I can call it a breakup because there was no relationship in the first place. You were just another girl he had sex with, nothing more. Don't think so highly of you. You are nothing special. I shouted angrily. Don't get me wrong. I have suffered enough because of this type of mean girl. I know I was too harsh. But don't you think she deserves that? What you said, she suddenly jumped to me, and held my neck. She has gone crazy. Is she trying to kill me now by suffocating me? I was trying to escape from her hold. But she was much stronger than me. I had no option but kick her to get away from her. She screamed with pain, but she loses her grip. However, she didn't stop there. She started beating me again. I had to defend myself. I have never got into a fight in my whole life. Anyway, I was not ready to give up either. She was screaming, and cursing me all the time. Her scream attracted many students around us. Now it was like those fighting scenes you see in movies. People were gathering around and cheering. Well, they actually were cheering, can you believe that? Without trying to stop the fight, they were cheering and filming it. We were fighting like there is no tomorrow. I am too skinny and weak when compared to her. But she was emotionally exhausted. So we both have a chance of winning. She was trying to tear my blouse, even the top button fell off. What is wrong with her? Is she fighting with me, or is she trying to RE me? I had to stop her somehow. So I punched her face and her lip started to bleed. When she felt her lip was bleeding, she got furious. She jumped to me again like she has gone crazy. This time we both fell to the ground. But our fight was not over. She kicked in my lower abdomen and it was really painful. I felt like my whole body goes numb. What is this? Suddenly a voice raised among the crowd. As soon as Beth heard that voice, she tried to get up. It was Shane who came forward from the crowd. "Shane! This bit hit me. See? I am bleeding," she started to cry and complain, showing her lip to Shane. But Shane's eyes were focused on me like he didn't hear anything Beth said. I was still on the floor. My body was aching like crazy. I tried to stand up. Shane ran to me and gave me his hand for support. Holding his hand, I stood up. Beth's eyes were filled with tears and her mouth was widely opened after seeing Shane's reaction. "Shane! I love you. I love you so much. I will give you anything you want, Shane. Tell me, why you left me." Then she started to cry loudly. Shane had his hand wrapped around my waist, keeping me stand straight. Without saying anything, Shane was staring at her. "What does she has, that I don't have, Shane? Can she make you happy more than I did? Is that why you went for her, Shane? Because she is a better than me," she screamed. "Shut up, Beth. Don't act like a fool in front of everyone," Shane said. "So now I am a fool. You don't want me now. You want this whe?" she yelled. Shane suddenly removed his hand from me and walked up to her. Even before I realized what was happening, Shane slapped her hard. "Don't you dare call her a hui, bitch. She is not a whe like you. She never goes with guys like you did," he screamed. Shane was furious. I can't remember any other day he was this furious. "If you want to know why I go after her, I will tell you. I will tell you all," he said, looking at everyone around us. "This girl here," he said, coming to me and holding my hand. "This is my sister. My twin sister. Don't any one of you dare to even touch my sister again. If anyone has ever hurt her again, that person will have to pay for it," he screamed, and then dragging me from my hand, he started to leave. I have no words to explain what I felt right then. Everything happened so quickly and it felt like a dream. He was the reason I mostly got bullied, but today he is protecting me. When he was dragging me away from the crowd, I saw Luke was staring at both of us with extremely widened eyes. The rest of the audiobooks will be uploaded in the next episode. Join us on Patreon to listen to more unlimited audiobooks.